Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode from the Multitools and Blades channel. Today we're going to have a look at a couple of multi-tools made by the Bear Cutlery MGC. We'll have a look at the smaller one first. This is known just as the BearJaws, model number 155. If you want to identify a very early one, all you need to do is have a look at that plier head there. If it has the BearJaws USA stamped into it, it's one of the earliest production versions. This one here is actually a first production run. It has a blank space where normally a metric ruler would be. These are really hard to find. If you have a keen eye, you may have noticed that all the tools on this are in the outside opening position. Bear Cutlery was the first to do this, and their patents predate the Victorinox Swiss tool. This resulted in Victorinox purchasing Bear Cutlery in order to gain access to their intellectual property. Enough about the history. You can see here that the tools, when they come out, they clump together and there is no locking mechanism. It's very much like the original PST. The sheet metal that's used to make the handles is actually made of thicker gauge, so the pressure on the back spring is quite a lot more than a PST. The tools clump together just like every other tool from the mid-90s. On this side we have the main blade, two side screwdrivers, a metal file and a lanyard ring. I know it seems pretty simple, but that's kind of what was on all the multi-tools at that time. It's very similar to a PST in that regard, but one main difference is because all the tools are outside opening, the edges when it's in plier form are actually rounded off. It's easy on the hand and there are no hot spots. If you've handled an original PST, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So Leatherman's PST had a bigger version called the Super Tool. This BearJaws had a bigger version as well called the Super BearJaws. So just like Leatherman, we had the 4-inch tool and the 4.5-inch tool. These Super BearJaws are extremely hard to find, at least here in Australia that is. The Super BearJaws was just a larger version, so it had all the same kind of tools. However, the one I have here is actually a variation. It's a gardening version. So instead of having a nice big pair of plier heads, we have here a gardening shear. I've used this in the garden a few times, and I can tell you that it works perfectly well. This predates Leatherman's Genus and Hybrid by many years. As I'm quite sure you can imagine, this is a very large tool, very heavy as well. I'm quite sure if they'd made a gardening version of the regular size BearJaws, it would have been just as competent. I think this is a little bit overkill, to be honest. So just like the smaller one, we have outside opening tools, but not as many. We have a half serrated clip point blade. Again, there's no locking mechanisms on these. These are made from really thick gauge steel. The tension bar that keeps it in place is really strong. Going with the gardening theme, on the opposite side of the knife we have a wood saw. I'm not sure what the cutout is on the spine of that wood saw. It doesn't line up with the nail nick. If any of you watching this have any kind of indication of what that is, please leave a comment down below. Now we flip it over, on the other side we have a grafting knife, or a grafting tool, whatever you want to call it. I've never used a grafting knife before, so I'm not sure if it's a good one or not. It certainly is made of thick steel, so I have no concerns that it's going to break anytime soon. And the fourth and last tool is just a boring little screwdriver. I was half expecting a can opener. Because of the enormous scissor head, there are these plastic spaces where normally tool sets are. If this was a regular Super BearJaws, you'd have a lot more tools just like the normal regular BearJaws. And since these both tools have the same knife blade, obviously one's half serrated, I'm quite sure a lot of the tools are just carried over. I think these are historical pieces. If we didn't have these, we would never have had the Victorinox Swiss tool and Swiss tool Spirit. So I think this is a really good addition to any collection. So let's leave it there. Thank you again for watching all the way to the end. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Feel free to leave a comment and I'll catch you next time.